Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. We're going to begin in just a moment or two. We'll just give a couple more minutes for folks to arrive. We're going to be discussing the Journey to Success Early Year Summer Program, some information for families over the next half an hour or so. Okay, so I think we'll begin. So thanks for joining us, everyone. The focus of this session today is to provide TDSB families sort of an introduction to the Journey to Success program. From a technical perspective, we're going to be talking about the platform that we're using for the Journey to Success program, how to log in, how to access your class, that sort of thing. We have the chat set up on the right-hand side, so please feel free to type any questions in there that you may have as we go along. I have a colleague of mine, Jessica from Desire to Learn, joining us, and she'll be perhaps helping to answer some of the questions in the chat pod as well. So just a quick introduction. My name is Kevin Bradbeer, and I work in the IT services area of the Toronto District School Board. And I've been working with some of the early year staff in getting the Journey to Success program up and running. We are using the Brightspace learning platform for the Journey to Success program. It is a platform that is provided to all Ontario school districts by the Ministry of Education. And it's been something we've been using a lot, especially over the last several months for remote learning. So we'll get started with our slides here. So in terms of what we're going to discuss this evening, we're going to talk a little bit about how to log into Brightspace, about how to access the platform, what account to use to log in, what passwords you should use to log in. And then once you've logged into the Brightspace platform, how do you find your class? And then we'll talk a little bit about navigating around the Brightspace online learning environment, sharing work with your teacher, and then finally we'll have some suggestions about how you can get help with any questions that you might have about Brightspace or the platform. So for the folks who just joined us, thanks for joining us this evening. We have the chat pod on the right-hand side. Please feel free to use that to ask any questions that you might have. Well, our focus today is really about the technical components of the program. I won't be able to answer any questions about the content that the teachers might be working with your students. I am a teacher myself, but I'm not in that role any longer. I'm working specifically in our IT department. So we're going to jump right in and have a quick look at about how we log into the Brightspace platform to get started with the Journey to Success program. So I believe that everyone was sent an email. All the parents and families were sent an email with some login instructions, and the link, the URL that you should use to log into the Brightspace platform is on the screen there in front of us, so tdsb.elearningontario.ca. And once you enter that link, you'll see the login screen that looks very similar to what you see on the right-hand side. So we have sort of three different types of roles that log into our Brightspace platform. The first one is for TDSB staff and students, then the green button. The middle section with the blue button is for parents and guardians if you are logging into Brightspace for parents. So that won't be something we're using for the summer program. And then the bottom section in orange is for our e-credit and e-summer students. TDSB runs a very large e-summer program. We had approximately 10,000 students in July and 10,000 students in August taking credit courses for high school. So that's a program that we run every year. And I'll talk a little bit about more specifically about how the students and families for the Journey to Success program should be logging in and sort of which button to choose. So on this particular screen, I want to recognize that we have two sets of students for the Journey to Success program. We have students who are in kindergarten, grade 1 or grade 2 with the TDSB last school year. So you've completed, junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, grade 1 or grade 2, and you are an existing TDSB student. The other group of students we have with us for the summer program are what we call pre-kindergarten students. So they are students who haven't yet started school with us. So as we say, pre-kindergarten. And so those, depending on which type of student you are, you're going to log into Brightspace one of two ways. So for our current TDSB students, those who attended school with us last school year and previously, you're going to log in with your student email address and your regular password. So your student email address looks like your first name dot last name at student.tdsb.on.ca. So I'm going to type a little example in the chat pod just using my name. This isn't a real one because I have a staff one, but it would look like this. Okay, so that's what my email address would look like in a student format. And the password that I would use would be the same password that I was using last school year. Now, we recognize that some students may not remember their password from June when they were using it for remote learning, or you may wish to change it. And we have a link there to our client service desk. That's the TDSB IT help desk web chat service. And I'll talk a little bit more about how to get help with some of these items at the end. But those folks are available between Monday and Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to help with password resets. Or if you're not sure about what the password is for your child, the folks at our client service desk can definitely assist with that. So just going to reiterate that for 1 second. TDSB students, current TDSB students who were with us last school year, you would click the green button. You would log in with the student email address. So for example, kevin.bradbeer@student.tdsb.on.ca. And then the password that you were using either at school or during remote learning last school year. And that password for students does not expire. So there's no concern about it having expired over the summertime. And that's the majority of our students in the Journey to Success program. The other type of students we have are our pre-kindergarten students who will be starting school with us in September, but haven't done so as of yet. Those students, we don't have a TDSB account for them yet, so they don't have, say, a first name dot last name at student email. For those students, we use the parent email address that the parents use to register for the program with. So the login in this particular case would be the parent email address. And then when the parents were, all these parents were sent an email, I believe it was Tuesday evening, with a link to say, log in here, and then you should have been asked to choose a password for yourself at that point in time. If there were any questions about that, or if you set a password and you've forgotten it, or you wish to change it, again, our client service desk staff are available through the web chat to assist with those sorts of things. So just to go over that one again, if you haven't yet started school with us, you're a pre-kindergarten student, the parent email address is the login, and the parents were asked to create a password the first time they accessed the Brightspace Learning Platform. Okay, so that's a quick overview of how we would log in to Brightspace through the link that we had on the previous screen, tdsb.elearningontario.ca. Once I'm going to go live in a few minutes in terms of getting into the platform and show you some of the screens live and how to navigate around. What I did want to do is talk a little bit about how to get some help. So for example, on our public website, and I'll go there live in a minute to show you how to get here, but we do have a web chat available, as I mentioned, between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. So on the public website, we will eventually get and show you that student password and device help tile. We click on that, and it will take us to a link that we can click on to the web chat form. So this is the form that you're going to need to fill out prior to starting a chat with our help desk agents. So the student number, this is your Trillium number that students would have. I understand certainly that our youngest students may not have that number memorized. They may not know that. Not a problem. You can just enter in any 9-digit number in there to bypass that screen. First name, of course, will be the first name of the student, last name of the student, the birth date, and a phone number. And we ask for this information just to verify that it is you as the parent contacting us about your child. So we do a lookup in our student information system to make sure that you're putting in the information that matches what we have on file, so that we're not giving just random people access to some student information. Once you've entered in those pieces of information, click Start Chat, and you'll be put in a queue. Just like any sort of web chat, there's sometimes a little bit of a lineup, but it is kept in priority sequence. So you could be the first in line, the second in line, but it is all kept in queue. So if the access to the help desk agent isn't immediate, please be patient and hang in there for a few minutes. We do have several staff that are dedicated to this service every day of the week during those timeframes. And I think, yeah, that's the last of my slides. So I'm going to stop sharing this tab, and I'm going to pop over and go live on our website for just 1 second. Okay, so in terms of accessing that chat with our client service desk help, we would do that from the main page of the public website, so www.tdsb.on.ca. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit on the right-hand side, and you'll see that there is a little tile called Student Password and Device Help. We're going to click on that tile. We'll then see 5 options for families to click on. We've got some information from Google Classroom, some information about Brightspace, some information about digital citizenship. What we're looking for if we need help is the student password help student password and device help tile. We would click on that, and it takes us to a little bit of information about what kind of help is available. And then that student password and device help link that's towards the bottom of the page is the screen that I just showed you on when we were in the slides, in terms of entering in those required fields and then starting your chat once you've entered in the information that we're asking for. Okay, so I think that that's pretty straightforward. I'll just navigate backwards a couple of pages. So from the main TDSB website, tdsb.on.ca, scroll down on the right-hand side, student password and device help. The last tile, student password and device help with the question mark in the tablet. And then the student password and device help link. Okay, the student device support email address that you see there, that is really dedicated to families who were loaned a device during remote learning. So please don't use that for password questions, account questions. Please use the web chat option for the password questions or account questions. Okay, I'm going to pop back over now to Brightspace itself. And I'm going to go to this page over here. And this is me logged in as a student account. Okay, so I'm going to log out of here so we can do the login process from the beginning. So in this particular scenario, I am one of the pre-kindergarten students. I don't have a TDSB account yet. So I'm going to log in this way. So I would click on the eCredit eSummer option, and it pops me down to this box down below where I would type in my username. And mine's going to be a little bit different from yours. You would be entering in your parent email address on this screen. Okay, this is just a demo account that I use sometimes. So username would be the parent email address, password would be the password that you set up initially. If by some reason you've forgotten your password, we do see that that password, forgot your password link is there. That will send a link to the email address that we have on file. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'm saying, no, I don't want that right now. And I've landed on the Brightspace homepage. So this is not my course. This isn't where I'm going to really be doing any learning per se. I'm not connected to my teacher yet. In order to do that, the first thing I need to do is actually get into my course. And there's two ways I can do that. So you'll notice on the right-hand side that there is a My Courses area, a little widget that we call it over here, My Courses. And this is my Journey to Success course here. And Jessica is my teacher for this one. So I could click this way to go in, and that's definitely the easiest way to do so. I can also go up to this little waffle kind of icon in the top. It's our course selector. I can click there, and the courses will be here previewed for me. I can also click on the name there as well. So either way, both take you to the same destination. I'm just going to click on it from here and go into my course. When I land on this screen, this is the home page of the course, and I know that I'm in my teacher's course now because it tells me a couple of things. It says right up here, Journey to Success Summer 2020, and then it'll show your teacher's last name there in that screen. And then I will see that there is probably going to be at least one, maybe more announcements here from my teacher telling me what's happening today, what sorts of instructions they might have left for me. They might have a task for me to do, a question they want me to answer, that sort of thing. So the announcements, I can do a couple of things. I can click into the announcements area as a whole, or I can click into just this particular announcement, which is titled August 13th, Day 2. I can go in and read whatever the instructions are for me in here, and I can see that there is a link indicated by the blue text. There's some images here. So the question of the day, there's a link to the virtual library. This is just highlighting some of the various capabilities that we have within the announcement tool. So that's the announcements. So I'm in one particular announcement right now, and let's imagine for a moment that I've finished the information that I needed to work with here. I want to go back to my course home. So not the home button in the very top. That's going to take me back to my first landing page, which we don't want. I want to go back to the course home. Okay, so now I'm back on the course home page, and you'll notice that there are a number of icons across the top of the we call this the navigation bar, a number of questions across the top there. I'm just going to pause and have a quick look in the chat here. So just looking at the question from Lisa. So Lisa, you don't need to create an account. We've created accounts for all the students. I think it will depend on if your student, or sorry, if your child is a current TDSB student, or if they are a pre-kindergarten student who will be starting school in September. And I will go back to that slide just before we wrap up to sort of talk about the differences between the two and sort of which path you should be using to log in. Okay, so in terms of the tiles that we have across the top, so these are some icons that will take me to different places. So for example, in the picture books area, if I click on this one, this is a collection of digital picture books that are available to me as a student enrolled in the Journey to Success summer program. So I can go to PebbleGo, Capstone, Tumble Books. Those are all TDSB digital resources. And then we've also put in a link here to the Toronto Public Library kids literacy section as well. These are some resources that we could use. So that's one of the areas here. The portfolio section I'm going to go into in a little bit more detail. I'll skip that one for a second. Your teachers may ask you to contribute to a discussion. They may have a question. So I would go into the discussions area to access that. I could also go into the content area. So the announcement area is going to be sort of like your main place where teachers are going to give you some welcome messages, some instructions, some direction in terms of what they're looking for the students to do on a particular day or a particular task. You'll also notice that there's a calendar widget here on the right-hand side. That doesn't have any events in this particular course, but I think in most of our courses, you will see that there are some web meetings that are scheduled there. There could be some external artist visits also scheduled there. So I think we've talked a little bit about the course home. Content is where the teacher may put up some information. So for example, we can click in there. And I can see that there are some task cards here for this particular course. And again, this is just a sample course. Your courses are going to be more full, have a little bit more content. And then there's something in here about the big yellow bus, so a task card that I might find for the big yellow bus. I'm going to go back to course home again, not the home button up there. That takes me to the main landing page. I want course home. And one of the things that I was asked to spend a little bit of time on is the My Portfolio. So one of the things the teachers want to really engage in and the educators want to engage in with the students is to sharing some of the learning that you're doing. And one of the ways I think you're going to be asked to do that is through the portfolio tool. Okay. So I'm going to click on My Portfolio, and this is basically a digital portfolio that is dedicated to your child. So it is, when I'm in here now from my student account, this content is only available to myself and my teacher. So I'm going to go into my summer Journey to Success program. And this is showing me that I've got a couple of artifacts that I have already uploaded to my portfolio and shared them with my teacher automatically. So if the teacher is asking us to share some our thoughts on something or share an image of something, maybe it was something that was in my home or maybe in my neighborhood or something that I drew or something that I wrote, there's a few different ways that we can add artifacts to our portfolio. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that now, and then I'll come back and dig into those two artifacts we have in there. So when you're on the computer, laptop, desktop, doesn't matter, there's an Add to Portfolio button in the top left corner. So I can click on that and add any artifact from my computer to my portfolio. So I'm going to click on that now, and it says, you can drag and drop something, you can browse something. I'll just quickly browse my computer, and I've got a bunch of screenshots here. Maybe I could put in that one that we just used in the slides today. I'm going to choose that one. It will upload. And once it just takes a moment to load the preview in, and now I haven't changed the names of these. So it just says the file name, so screenshot. And I want to go in now as the student, and I want to add some thoughts to what I've shared. So I'm going to click on it, and I can add some of my own reflections or thoughts to this artifact in a couple different ways. So I could click on this and record a little audio message. I can also type something. So I'm not sure if this is going to create a lot of feedback, but I'll just do a quick little one. Oh, sorry, no, I don't want to upload an audio file. So I'm just going to go in here. So I'm going to say, this is the icon for help from the TDSB website. Okay, and I'm going to add that there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. You can type more than one reflection if you want, and you can type several. You can also edit this thought if you wish. If you wanted to add something or you wanted to make it a little smaller, you can just go ahead and edit. Or if you're really not happy with it, you can delete it and start again. Okay, and those are all the student options there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my portfolio, and you'll now notice that the reflection that I added is now there right on the main page. So these three artifacts are items that I've added to my portfolio through the computer. These two I did through the computer. The other one I did through the app. There is a Brightspace portfolio app that is in both the Android and the iOS stores that you can install on either a phone or a tablet. And it's a really handy way to get pictures of things that you may have access to. You want to take a picture of something, again, in your home, your neighborhood, some sort of tangible artifact that you've got and you want to add into your portfolio. So a teacher may say, today we read this particular book, and I wonder if you could share how it made you feel. Could you take a picture of something and tell me about that? So what I would need to do in order to do that is have the Brightspace Portfolio app on my device, whether it was a phone or a tablet, and it's a free app to download. So I would just go into the store and I would search for Brightspace Portfolio. Once I have that on my phone, I need to tell the app who I am. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do, and as a student, is I'm going to go into this print pass card area. Okay, and what it's going to do is bring up a it's going to bring up a QR code that we see on the screen there in front of us. And what I have to do is I have to scan that QR code with my device in order to tell Portfolio who I am. So I'm going to stop talking for a second and just see if we can record the audio that comes out of my phone. I'm going to try to do this live.
Well, hey there. Can you show me your pass card, please?
So I'm going to hold the phone up to the computer, and it automatically scans.
Can I see some of your cool work?
And then Funster is going to then prompt me to say, hey, can I see some of your cool work? And it'll ask me to take a picture of something. So I'm going to do that really quickly. We'll just take a picture of my drink.
Hold still.
I don't need to...
Do you like the way this looks?
I don't need to actually take the picture. I just need to hold the camera still and it'll do it for me. So I didn't like the first one. I'm going to do another one.
Do you like the way this looks?
And I'm going to say yes to that.
Can I hear more about your work?
And so
Tap
then
the button to start recording.
So there's a talk time button on the side. I'm going to just simply touch that and do a quick recording. This is a picture of my glass of water during the session today.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
And so that's it. I've now uploaded that artifact into the portfolio. And so when I am finished in this particular area, it'll just take a second and the artifact will then be reflected in my portfolio. So I'm going to go back out, and I'm just going to keep going back out a little bit. And I'm not sure if this will come in this fast or not. It hasn't come in quite yet. So I might just have to wait for a moment before it arrives. But this is where I would see the artifact, the picture, and then my little annotation for when that I just took. So for example, earlier today, this was an artifact that I had. I'll just lean over and try to get the audio. I'm not sure if that came through or not. It was pretty soft, but it was just me saying this is a picture of a pillow. Okay, so that's a quick look at Portfolio in terms of how you can either upload work from the computer or using the Portfolio app and accessing it through the pass card. So I anticipate next week that teachers will start asking students to start sharing some of their learning, reflections, thoughts, and that sort of thing. And I would imagine that it's going to be happening a lot through Portfolio. Okay, I'm going to go back to the main section again, and I'm going to stop sharing this particular screen. And I'm going to bring up my slides again to try to answer Lisa's question about logging in. Okay, so just going to grab Lisa's question. So Lisa, you're saying he's a pre-K student? Okay, so he's going to be in the bottom section. So that's the eSummer login, the orange area. That's going to ask you to log in with the email address that you use to register him, so your own email address. And then you should have received an email Tuesday night giving you a link to log in and create a password. And then that's how you will log in for the remainder of the session using your email address and whatever password you created. If you don't, if you had a problem with the password or a problem with that process, use the web chat service that we have on TDSB Web, and our client service desk staff will be there to assist you. Okay, so just having a quick look at some of the questions. The UI was laggy, took a lot of time to log in. Okay, now one of the other things that we have through Brightspace is we have access to help from the company itself. So yeah, once you're into Brightspace and logged in, on the very top menu, there is a item that says Get Help Here. There's a link to either a web chat or a phone number, and you can call Brightspace directly if you have any difficulties like Manoj, what you've just talked about there with your daughter. Okay. Just gonna have just go down through the questions a little bit. Alexis, so with YouTube Live, this is being recorded, and the link that you use to access the video will be the recording. So it takes about a day, and then it'll become available, and everything we've done this evening is going to be available as the recording. Okay. And Fatih, sorry, I only had a half an hour allocated, and I know that some of the parents are probably going to want to jump into the session that the board is holding right now. So I was asked not to go over time. So I won't be able to go through portfolio again, but I would recommend calling or web chatting with Brightspace support if you have any trouble about how to access a portfolio or how to upload an artifact, that sort of thing. The Brightspace help agents are great. I use them almost every day. Okay, so folks, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Your teachers are a good point of contact for questions. Our client service desk that we talked about at the beginning through the web chat is a good source of assistance if you need help, along with the Brightspace help desk as well. Okay, and there's just the screen up again about where the web chat is. Okay, so to get to the TDSB web chat, we're going to go to the public website. I've just put it in the chat there. Look for the student device help icon on the right-hand side, and just keep clicking through until you get to the web chat there. Okay, so thanks very much for joining us this evening. I hope that this was a good start at getting you connected to the Journey to Success program. I wish you a very successful 2 weeks with the program. I hope that you're able to have some great connections and learning experiences with your families, with your other students. And Jessica, thanks very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Oh yeah, they're in the console. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it'll probably be like maybe 7:30 or so.